Wow, it's really clever how they decorated this headstone.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really into country chic, too.
Me too. Hey, can we get out of here? This graveyard giving me the creeps.
Oh, come off it, you chicken. There's nothing to be afraid of in this old abandoned graveyard. Hey, who the crap is that walking to me so weird?
That's Simon. I think that's the president of your bass players fan club.
Well, he's giving me the freaking creeps.
They're coming to get you, Barbara. And
Who?
you got me rocking and a rolling, Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann. That's what he's saying. Just like off my favorite movie,
Not of
Surf
the...
Ninja,
Oh,
starring Pauly Shore or Rob Schneider, one or the other. I can't remember.
yeah, I get him confused, too. Hey, he's still coming this way.
What? No, I've seen that look in somebody's eyes before, Simon. Back when I was a meatball stuntman on that place for getting through the tucker on the floor and all that jazz. His carbohydrate starboard, he got low insulin sensitivity. He's gonna come and bug us until we give him all of our bread products.
What? Hey, buddy, look, buddy. What are you doing? Get off me. Good job, you bum. What waffles on Wednesdays?
Oh my gosh, you knocked him over.
I feel so bad, and yet so energized.
Quick, get that car.
Okay. All right, surely somebody left the keys of this piece of crap. I mean, you hear that door? This car's in horrible shape.
I'm trying to find
if
the
I was
keys.
the owner, I'd want somebody to steal it.
I think I found them. Here they are. Crack the window. How'd you do that when I didn't have the keys in the ignition?
Never mind. Do you hear that? I think he's tap dancing on the car.
I think he is. Dang, he really getting into it, didn't he? He reminded me of one of the music videos without the music.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
they just
yeah.
step a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Is he done? Yeah, never mind. He's still going. Maybe he'll get tired out. Maybe he'll just stop. Yeah, I think he's done.
Freaking drive.
I can't drive. It's not a golf cart. I don't know how.
Just put a neutral water bolt down the hill. Dude, you gotta steer.
I'm trying.
We're gonna hit that tree. Fail all three.
Through.
Oh, my coccyx.
You're what now?
Never mind. There's a house over there.
Okay,
Get
okay.
into it quick.
Hey, quick, let us in.
Well. Look who decided to drag their sweet cheeks out to the party. Did you bring the beef jerky like I asked?
What are you talking about, Peter? You know I can't read. Why do you even bother texting me? And what party? What are you talking
Who
about?
doesn't know about the party, guys? George didn't invite him.
Who's George? What's a George?
Hello, McFly. It's not George. You're saying it wrong. He's Spanish. We're talking about my best friend, grilling enthusiast / low-budget movie director, Jorge Romeo.
Welcome to my home, dang it. Are you hungry? We have a few extra burgers.
Was that a threat? I think that was a threat.
What? No. I assure you, no threats. Just hamburgers. Ben ate one.
Oh, hey, what's up, Trey Train?
Yeah, Trema Train, tell him how good Jorge's burgers are, which will be being served at Crushing Melons next week.
You don't say much, do you, Ben?
That's right, George. Anyway, none of that matters. Look, there are all these freaks running around outside trying to get free food off of us. One of them tried to bot me. They must be awful hungry.
Yeah, they were over at the Crushing Melons trying to get a free handout, the friggin' bums. I told them we don't have any more baguettes, so I sent them over to you to get some of them crappy waffles.
We don't serve waffles on Wednesdays.
Guys, I think we better figure out something soon. There's a whole bunch of them surrounding the house. They look awful hungry.
Look, I don't know if I ever told you before, but I used to be a stuntman. And I did this role when I was a meatball and a plate of spaghetti and I roll up, do the tuck and floor into the floor and do all that jazz.
Oh, I'm sorry, I would slip my mind.
Yeah,
Yes,
you've told us.
told us a lot.
Okay, look, take it easy. The moral of the story is that hungry people always get hungrier unless they eat. So all we gotta do is sit up in here and wait till morning and they just leave, boy. And we're gonna use that heater over there to make us food.
Oh, you mean to feed them to where they'll go away? That's a good idea.
Shit, boy, no, we ain't gonna give it to them. We're gonna eat like kings in here, boy. What you talking about?
That's a good one. You were serious. You see, that's a butane heater. It won't last you till the morning.
What do you got against butane?
He's saying that the gas in that tank will not last till morning because it burns inefficiently.
Yep.
Well, then we gotta get out of here, because them things are gonna eat us alive if we don't. I saw a golf cart around back. Me man, you could drive us.
Whoa, hang on. Look, I can't just let you people drive away in a golf cart, okay?
Hang on a minute. What you mean? You people.
Oh, you, Simon. I mean, really any of the playground except for Driver Man, and he's not here. Maybe Ben, but I think he might be taking a nap because he hasn't moved since we got here. I just can't let y'all drive. Y'all wreck the golf cart.
You got something against meat people, mother lover? You better be very careful about what you're about to say. I'm about to give you a number 5 right across the face. And I can't wait out there.
Guys, they're breaking in.
Oh no, they're in the house! Engage Scooby-Doo escape tactics!
What the crap is going on? Why are we running up and down the hallways?
Don't worry about it. Just shut up and get the closet.
Why does this closet lead to the refrigerator?
I'll roll you down the hallway, boy.
Oh crap, they're right behind us! Wait a second, now we're behind them!
That's a trick.
Act like you're statues!
Everybody act like you're part of the band.
We're after the train, quick!
Ben, you gotta move.
What the crap was that?
That's the true power of being a party animal.
You mean he can unleash that crap in his sleep?
Yeah.
Guys, my thighs are getting a little chafed from all the running.
Oh yeah, mine too.
Neither one of you have any legs.
Simon!
Yeah, other guy.
Why are you telling me all this? Is there a point to this story?
Yeah, it turns out that we decided that the best way to escape was to go to the helicopter on the roof and just fly away.
What? What?
Well, look, the whole experience gave
Did this
me...
really even happen?
Yes, it really happened. What, you gotta just make this crap up?
Sometimes.
I think I'll deserve a little more credit than that. Yes, it happened, other guy, okay? Look, it gave me a great idea for a commercial, okay? You want to hear it?
No.
Too bad. Roll the clip. Has this ever happened to you?
Ooh, they're coming to get you, carbohydrate. Ooh.
Truly, it is a night of the living bread, which will lead to a dawn of the bread. Oh, the horror! What a terrible night for a curse! Here at Placebo Supplements, Uncle Rico knows that sometimes life forces you to take refuge in a house of the bread, or House of the Bread 2 through 5. Hey, quit it with the counting. We're not paying you to show off here.
I don't get it. That donut and that loaf of pumpernickel just trying to bite my arm off.
Let me break it down for you, buddy. That thing you just did, it raised the bread.
You mean the yeast?
No, the thing that you just did, never mind. Truly, it is a night of the living bread. Maybe you should use the placebo bread knife. Oh, hey, I've heard of that. You mean the new motorized placebo bread knife?
Oh, yes. Let me just crank start it here. There we go. Commence the carving.
The new placebo bread knife features a serrated edge for even the toughest of bread foes.
Let me stop you there. We actually had to cancel that feature last minute. It was not an easy decision.
Yeah, but it's still a very high quality knife. I mean, why is it stopping?
I just got a crank start. Hang on.
Did you try the tuck and roll? Do the tuck and roll.
There we go.
I told you.
Yeah.
Okay, as As you could see, serrated edges aren't everything. The placebo knife patent pending is still very, very sharp.
Okay, look, Kimosabe, don't get too far down that rabbit hole. I don't want to be the one to tell you this, but,
Well, you see,
They are sharpened. We had to throw that out last minute, too. You would not believe the cost of outsourcing the sharpening of blades. Foreign labor does not carry you like it used to, my friend.
Okay, well, the new placebo spoon is still motorized with one of the highest quality propane motors on the market, which just stopped again.
Yeah, Uncle Rico switched that out for a butane motor last minute to save on production. We ended up saving like a few lollipops per unit.
Oh, great. You're still gonna pay me, right?
placebo knife. Is it really a knife?
No, it's not a knife.
Nobody cares.
And we are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to that only show that still doesn't know how to open up an episode. It's just a regular show about the regular show. Or regular time, as some people prefer to call it. I'm your host, that one guy with the weird name that's awkward to say and nobody cares. Let's get ready to have a regular time. So, since we last talked, which technically for me was about 5 minutes ago, but for you is about 2 weeks ago, I do have some things I'm going to talk about this time around. So, the Fallout series on Amazon Prime dropped a few days ago as of the recording of this, and I got a few things to say about it. I've only watched the first 2 episodes. There were some parts that I skipped through. I'm just not all about the whole racy content. And you're probably saying, well, Kirkland, the Fallout games had racy content. Yeah, but they were clever about it. It's just when it gets just shoved right in your face just for getting a specific rating. I don't know. I'm just over that. But I gotta say, honestly, to me, it's obviously in the Fallout universe, but it doesn't feel like the Fallout games. Or maybe I should rephrase. It just does not feel like a Fallout game. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's actually, so far, episode 2 I thought was a lot better than episode 1. It's fairly enjoyable to watch, and I think they've done a pretty good job casting everything. It's just, I don't know, maybe that's the cool thing about games, is the way that you receive the humor and tact and everything in it is just so interactive. Whereas, it's the same path for everybody, or all viewers have the same experience when they watch it. Or it's the same storyline that they follow. It's not a choose your own adventure or a go your own way open world type deal. But to me, there's 2 branches of Fallout. Everybody's there's actually about 3, but the 2 big ones are the Interplay / Black Isle, the first 2 games. You had a couple in the middle there. You had the one on Xbox that we don't speak of, the Brotherhood of Steel one. You had one on Fallout Tactics. I never beat that one. But the 2 big eras is the Fallout the Interplay / Black Isle era, and then the Bethesda era, which it's crazy to think that Fallout 3 was like, I'm thinking that that game was like announced at E3. I could be getting this wrong, but it seemed like there was Final Fantasy VII Remake hype around that time. And we're just getting the second game in that remake at this point in time, which is crazy. I could have my timelines all mixed up there. Those are just 2 memories that stick out to me. I love the Bethesda games. I loved playing Fallout 3. I really liked New Vegas. 4 was a fun game. Thing about it is with Bethesda, though, is there are certain parts of the stories that are enhanced, that are great. And then there's certain parts as far as storytelling goes that are
weaker than the interplay versions. I think overall, to me, the interplay versions are a better experience. I don't know if it's the third person viewpoint. I think honestly, though, it's the dialogue, the way everything is presented to you. Everything's still a fair mystery. Like in the first game, you don't even know what the super mutants are to begin with. You're like clueless. You go out in the wasteland, it's completely new to you. And in the first two games, you're going after an item. Like the whole game is basically, or at least the 3/4 of the game is a fetch quest. It's an item to save your vault or your village. Whereas the Bethesda games, it's always, hey, certain family member has left the vault or something like that. Shouldn't say always, but you're always looking for somebody. And even in New Vegas, you start off looking for somebody as opposed to something. And as little of a detail as that seems, it seems to have like almost like a butterfly effect on the story of the games. I think the story of the first two games are far superior to the story of the Bethesda games. That being said, I think the Bethesda games are great. Bugs and all. I mean, honestly, when I played those games, I had a blast. I mean, I thought this is the coolest thing ever. I've loved Fallout for so long. And now we get these huge, almost open worlds. And they've got first-person shooter type elements in it. And still got the role-playing elements and all that. But I think, honestly, the true Fallout experience is the first two games. And I don't think this series has captured that so far. The mystery's not really there. The horror-esque type bizarre or / bizarre elements aren't really there. The humors of the Bethesda games definitely there. But it's a different type of humor, the interplay years. I wish they would have paid some sort of nod to that style of humor. It's more subtle. It's more of a subtle type humor. The Bethesda games have it too. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad at that. It's just, I don't know. Those first two games just got something that seems like it's hard to replicate. But I'll probably see this series through. I mean, it's especially because Invincible didn't have a 9th episode in season 2. I don't know why I thought it would, but I tried to watch the new episode the other day and it wasn't there because it doesn't exist. The season 2 of Invincible is a pretty good season. It seems like it goes by so fast, though, because they broke it up in 2 parts. And I don't know. It seems like, I mean, a lot happened, but it doesn't really feel like a lot's happened. But it's kind of cool. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't feel as grand as the first season did. But at the same time, it's kind of more enjoyable. I'm not even going to dive into that, honestly. Just watch it and find out for yourselves. It seems to be a pretty good series to me. But the Fallout series, I'm looking forward to watching it. So, there did seem to be sort of a twist there in episode 2. So that's pretty cool because those games always had like these twists. That's the cool thing about those games. It's like, especially the first game, I mean, it was there. It's like you go somewhere and this thing that's like so elusive to you, the water chip, I'm thinking you go to this vault and they've got no, they've only got one. But like in the second game is what it is. It's like everything that was so super critically important and like so all these things of myth, like your character leads a village, your grandfather is the guy who was banished from the vault or something. I can't remember, but like there's all these legends about him and it's like all this, mythological type stories. And it's just like an everyday guy that's doing all this regular stuff in the first game. And then, you find the water chip in the first game and it's like you can barely find one. Well, I think in part 2, you go to this vault and they've got like 500 of them or something, so it's like everything's kind of satirized or turned into a joke in part 2, but there's also these new threats that are introduced and a lot of other things that there's still a very serious undertone to it. And that's what I've always loved about that universe. And it's just wacky and kooky. And I mean, if you're willing to overlook a few like things, like reactions to like when, I mean, the bomb goes off like in the first 2 minutes of the first episode. It's not a spoiler. I mean, really, it kind of is, but it's, you'd miss it if you skip the first 2 minutes. But like the little girl's reaction and the cowboy guy's reaction, it's kind of unbelievable. But at the same time, like the games also did this type of acting every once in a while, but they really hammed it up. I mean, so that's the thing. I think like some of the stuff that the first couple games made fun of and really just like went over the top with, they go left and the series goes right. It's like the series kind of goes a little bit over the top with it, but it's trying to be serious. And that's just my take on it. But like I said, I think that I am going to enjoy watching it. So I look forward to seeing it through to the end. And I don't know if there's anything else to talk about. I think there was a Last Ronin live action movie that everybody's excited about. I haven't really looked into it. I haven't watched any of X-Men 97 yet. What I did see was, and this will be old news by the time you hear this, but I've been keeping up with the AI videos and the technology more being as I listen to the AI for Humans podcast. And I saw that somebody made a video of The Legend of Zelda, and it looks like a 70s like Panvision type movie. There are a couple videos out there. There's one in particular, and it's like the one that's got like Kid Link with a bomb. There's a fairy in the lake, and there's like a giant like canyon looking thing in the desert with a purple cloud over top of it. That looks so awesome in my opinion. And I don't think that's one of those things where you just type into a program a prompt and it spits it out. I don't want to get into the whole AI stealing human work and all that. It's definitely going to change it, and we can resist it as long as we want, but it's eventually going to outsource certain things. But I'll just put it at this: the cool thing is it's a tool to create, and if we embrace it, it'll open up jobs. Just like it, I shouldn't say just like, but it'll take certain jobs. The artists that are in the most trouble, I think, are the still image visual artists and the voice actors, the singular components. But like the moving visuals, like this movie, I'm thinking that there has got to be a few different programs going on there stacked on top of each other, used to achieve different things. And those all require users to create things. So yes, it's going to drop the workforce, but if people are willing to learn how to use it, it will also open up the capabilities for these, for more projects, and fewer people to do these projects. So you're talking for like these, like movies like that. I'm just going to throw out a number because I have no idea how it's made, but let's just say a movie like that back in the day might take 200 people to make, something like that, plus a big budget. Whereas now, let's say 10 people can make it. All it requires is their creativity with the tools. The budget's definitely not as high. Well, now instead of 100 people do that, we can have 10 different versions of that. I mean, not maybe of that, but 10 different films to come out. It's just people are going to have to learn a new skill set. And it's been like that. I mean, if you are using And you're going to say the scale is not as high. No, it's not. But like if you're using a healing brush in visual art, you're using a form of AI. And no, it's not like taking your job away when you do that. But I mean, like, if I'm making music or something, AI's or machine learning, I should say, it's been here for a while. And even to go back further than that, auto-tune and Melodyne, it's not going anywhere. I assure you, 99% of the projects that go out have pitch correction. At least the harmonies are tightened up or something. I mean, all of them. You just listen. You can hear it on the radio. I mean, even the most natural things like quote natural, like country music, even bluegrass, they have pitch correction on these harmonies. Maybe not a lot, but they're there and they're not going anywhere. People didn't start lose jobs because pitch correction came around. Same way, I've seen these machine learning programs come out and like they're supposed to mix things for producers automatically. They're just not that advanced yet. Now give it 8 months, give it a year, things will come along. Probably that's going to speed things up a lot. But here's the thing. Crap, if I could have something to go through and clean my tracks for me, where I can just spend more time mixing the song rather than taking out clicks and pops, I'm for it all day long. And I don't think there's a producer on earth or a mix engineer or whoever that will tell you any differently. I don't think anybody likes going through and cleaning up clicks or cleaning up breaths or any of that crap. I mean, that's an awesome thing to use this stuff for. And I'm rambling on. I said I wouldn't. Sorry, I kind of did there. And I really hope that nobody, I mean, in particular, I think of a guy that may listen to the show. I know he listens to Turtle Forever, Craig Holland, a fantastic artist. I don't want to speak for him, but I would imagine that just about anybody that does art does not appreciate having somebody come in that just throws down a prompt and takes work from them. He didn't say that. I haven't talked to the guy in a while, but I would just imagine if I were in his shoes, I wouldn't appreciate that. But the cool thing is guys like Craig, and I think of him specifically because his art style is very unique. Now, eventually, that character, it's not a like quote to the first. Like the first viewing, you wouldn't think this is like what you think of when you see a technically perfect picture. It's really creative. It's like there's these cool little perspective angles and all these little, I don't even want to call them flaws because they're not flaws. They're these human aspects. And a machine can try to replicate that, and it may be able to sooner than we think. But the cool thing is just from seeing that Craig can do that, I know that he is creative enough to come up with things and to be able to leverage these things as tools to create something human that a machine cannot replicate. It's like he will be able to stay ahead of the curve, I think. There's some people that I think won't be able to stay ahead of the curve in all of these fields because they try to compete too directly with a machine that is eventually going to be able to make technically, quote, perfect lines, perfect this, perfect that. That's not what we are, though. We're not machines. We are human. Why not leverage what we have? And I think from the stuff that I've seen him put out, I think like he is the perfect example of somebody that will be able to stay ahead of that AI curve. So it's very inspirational when I look at his stuff. It's a completely different field, and I know nothing about visual art, but I know like when you buy an image from him, you are paying for a style, number one, but number two, something that is obviously creative in a way that's not cookie cutter. And I understand the arguments like AI's going through and taking images that it didn't create and it's recycling them and everything. But it's like when you look at Craig's art, you see it's like this is a new effort almost made from scratch every single time. It's like a snapshot of what he's feeling at that moment. It's like true art, in my opinion. And you feel something when you look at it. So, sorry, Craig Holland, I didn't mean to ramble on about you there, but shout out to you, man. You're doing great work. And yeah, you're just the first one I think of for some reason when I think of people that will survive the AI, the artificial invasion. Anyway, let's continue on with the regularly scheduled program. And I hope I didn't offend too many of you there. It would, I think I've already met my quota for the week, so I don't want to go over that. The episode of the regular show we are here to talk about today is Over the Top, and it's an arm wrestling episode. Now, I looked at something with the regular or the Adventure Time episodes that are coming out alongside of this, and I realized something. Adventure Time, a couple episodes, finished its second or third season with Mortal Recoil. Now they're showing reruns going head to head with the regular show. So these things, I'm just going to be comparing the shows that the episodes that aired the same night as the regular show. So the regular show, these are new episodes. Adventure Time, these are going to be reruns for a little while until the next season comes up. So that being said, the episode that is going head to head with Over the Top today is called Rainy Day Daydream. From what I remember of this episode, basically they're inside the treehouse because it's raining, and for some reason I think it's like raining blades out of the sky or something like that. So they decide to play a game with imagination, and their imaginations get out of hand, and it's, you know, it kind of puts me in mind as like an over-the-top Rugrats episode. It's not the best episode of Adventure Time. It's a season 1 episode, if that tells you anything. And I don't think season 1's horrible. It's just, relatively speaking, they are weaker than the other seasons, in my opinion. So definitely, I think that the regular show wins this week. Because there's not many episodes. This episode of Adventure Time is not bad. It just doesn't really do it for me. There's not a whole lot of episodes of regular show that I think that it would beat out. There's definitely some, like Meet Your Maker. This one would like backhand slap Meet Your Maker and, you know, ground it or something. Anyway, let's get into this episode of the regular show. So, Over the Top is the 21st episode of Season 2. It aired May 23rd, 2011. In the UK, it aired October 19th, 2011. Directed by Mike Roth. Written and storyboarded by Benton Connor and Calvin Wong. The next episode in the Season 2 is The Night Owl. Last episode was Really Real Wrestling that I just covered a few minutes back. Very good episode. If you didn't watch it, go watch it. So the synopsis for this episode. In a flashback, Skips accidentally kills Rigby during an arm wrestling match. Yes, I read that correctly. In the present, Skips arm wrestles with Death to bring Rigby back to life. So, first thing that sticks out there is, for the first time in the series, we meet the character of Death, who becomes a fairly regular side character. Now, the casting for this episode, Mordecai and High Five Ghost is J.G. Quintel, so let's check out what the voice sounds like this time. Rigby and the Ghost referee is William Salyers. Pops Benson and Muscle Man, Sam Marin. Skips is Mark Hamill. The characters of Announcer and Doctor are our Six Ranger there, Roger Craig Smith. And the character of Death and Dad is Julian Holloway. So, there we go with that. Let me look down here and see if there's a lot of trivia. I'll just come back and read that at the end. This episode received 1.957 million views worldwide. Alrighty, so I guess with that being said, let's just go ahead and jump into it. So this is the first episode I can think of that starts off completely differently than all the other episodes. We do not start off in the park. We are in a morgue room. And there's this really sad, like, orchestral music playing, and Rigby's dead. So, and they're sitting there laying at his dead body that's covered up. And I think the first thing that happens, the doctor says, "I'm sorry, there was nothing I could do." And Mordecai's like, "You just couldn't let it go, could you?" So they all walk out of the room, and Skip's kind of, he looks back. It's like a flashback. And before I go any further, I got to say, like, just this first scene, the artwork seems to be I don't know if I should say a step up, because it kind of looks a little bit more digital than it has been. And it may just be all in my head, but it does look cleaner than we were used to seeing. The backgrounds definitely look more detailed and more just solid overall. So, and this holds up through most of the episode. It's almost like the difference between watching The Simpsons and The Simpsons movie. You know, the artwork's definitely like, you can tell they're the same characters and same style almost, but it's like, it's almost like there's just that extra something, I guess. But so Skips goes to the flashback in his head, and they're at McHooligan's, which is like a pub. And I don't know whether they've been having sodas or hot wings. I guess I'm assuming hot wings. I don't know, because Benson is inebriated. He's just like, hey, let me tell you guys, this guy right here, this guy right here, he is the strongest guy I know. Nobody can beat him at arm wrestling, you know, all that crap. And he's like, "Oh, come on, I don't know nothing about that." And he's like, Skips, I am your boss. And as your boss, I command you to arm wrestle me. You know, just the stupidest dialogue ever, but it's great. And he's like, okay, whatever. And they put him up, and they get in the position, and Skip slams his hand down, and Vince is like, "See what I tell you?" And he raises his hand up in the air, and then Pops goes, "Okay, me now," you know, and Skip slams his hand down, and he's like, "Ah!" You know, he's just laughing like crazy. Muscle Man gets up there, and like he's struggling, and then Skip slams his hand down, and Muscle Man starts like rocking the table like he has in previous episodes. High Fives Ghost gets up there, and when Skip slams him down, it's like he slams his face into the table because his hand's attached to his face. Mordecai says, "Me next. You can't take none of this." Slams him down. He's like, "Whoa!" And then finally, it's Rigby, and he says, "Okay, me." And Muscle Man laughs at him, and they set it up, and Rigby beats him with no effort. And he just says, "Haters gonna hate," and that's actually a T-shirt that they put out with Mordecai and Rigby on it. But so Skips is all like shocked, and they're all like, "Whoa!" And Skips is finally like, "Enough! That's it. I wasn't ready." And so they're like, "Okay, fine." He goes, "It could be that, or maybe you're just getting weak in your old age, Gramps." So they set him up again, and this time Skips kind of puts up a little bit of a fight, but Rigby beats him again. And as Skip's just like, he's devastated. And all the guys are walking off, and Mordecai says, "That was awesome, Rigby." And he goes, "It was all on the wrist, and it's in the muscles," which is, that's a pretty good line. I just, I don't know why, but that one makes me laugh. So the next day, Skips is sitting on the porch, like contemplating life decisions, like Macho Man staring off into the sunset. And Pops walks up and he's like, "Hey, Skips, you sure did a bang up job with arm wrestling last night. You beat everyone." And Skip says, "I didn't beat everyone. I didn't beat Rigby." He says, "Oh, yes, he's quite the arm wrestler." And he goes, "I'm not the strongest Rigby," or something like that. And Pop says, "Boulder Dash, you are the strongest person I know." And he says, "What you've got to do is you've got to go up to Rigby and demand a rematch. Then you'll see who the strongest is." And he walks off, and, he laughs. And so the next thing we see is we cut to the living room. Mordecai and Rigby are playing a game. They're playing Guitar Dudes Reunion Tour. And they've got guitar controllers, and this is obviously, probably everybody knows what this is parodying, but it's a Guitar Hero parody. And they're sitting there playing like, yeah, in your face. And it's like just do. And the little characters, they're like kind of rocking back and forth in synchronized motion, like kind of like Mordecai and the Rigby's do. And Mordecai says, "Here goes the power move." And he lays the guitar down flat and presses a button. And his character, like he kind of picks up the neck of the guitar and runs his hand up and down it. And it's going brrrr, and the background is like a red and white pixelized pinwheel just spinning behind him. And they're like, "Dude, this is just like playing real guitar," that's definitely what, at least when I was in high school, all the kids would try to tell you, playing guitar was just like playing real guitar. And I'm like, look, I can't play guitar well, but I can play it. And I'm telling you, that's not like playing a guitar. But anyway, they would just insist. But that's what people would say. So I found that very funny. And then to add to that, it's just like playing real guitar. Rigby messes up and they start throwing bottles at his character. And Mordecai's like, "Dude, dodge the bottles. Hurry. Up, up, down, down, left, left, right, right." You know what? The Konami code, whatever it is. And Skips walks in front of him and, basically he's going to rematch or challenge him for a rematch again. So he's all, "Rigby, you, me, rematch." Rigby says, "I'm busy." And he refuses, I think maybe twice. But anyway, Skips gets mad, picks up their console, smashes it over his knee and throws it against the wall and walks off. And Rigby's like, Mordecai says, "Dude, not cool." And Rigby says, "He'll get over it." So the next thing we see is Skips doing bicep curls in his house. And somebody knocks on the door. He says, "Come in." It's Benson and Mordecai and Rigby. And Benson's like, "Skips, did you break their video game system?" And Rigby's like, "Yeah, he did. I done told you he did. I told you, get him." And he's like, "I want to hear it from him." And Skips admits to it. And he's like, "Why?" He's like, I'm gonna have to ask you to pay him back for him." And he's like, "Yeah, I will, as soon as he gives me a rematch." And he says, "That's what this is all about?" And Skip says, "You wouldn't understand." And Benson's like, "Yeah, I guess I wouldn't." And Rigby says, "Oh, I understand. You just want to lose again." So they pull out a box and basically they have another match. Rigby beats Skips with no effort at all. And Benson's like, they got to have their money by tomorrow. I'm sorry, he said by next week. And he said, "Yeah, I will." And Rigby says, "What was that? I don't speak second place. Have my money to me by the end of the week." And then they walk off. Scene cuts, and they're going to McHooligans again. We know this because Muscle Man says, "Yeah, McHooligans, round 2. Woo!" And he slides down the steps, And Benson walks out and he's like, "I hope you all have your drink tickets because the drinks are on me, up to $1.50 value." And Pops runs out and he says, "I'm going to get me an Aguarita." And then Rigby says, "I'm going to get me an Ice on the Rocks," which those drink names just, yeah, that's great. Mordecai forgets his ticket. And he's like, "Oh, I forgot my ticket." And Benson says, "Hey, Mordecai, let's hustle." And they're all in the car ready to go. Mordecai goes back in side to get the tickets. And I think in there he meets Skips. So he does meet Skips. Skips is going through all of Rigby's crap and they kind of have this little discussion. And he's like, "Rigby, the strongest. There's got to be a trick behind it." And he says, "Rigby's been pranking you." And he goes, "What do you mean?" He says, 2 words, look it up, Placo Arm Boy. So Mordecai finds his ticket and leaves. While he's gone, Skips looks up the Placo Arm Boy, and it's a commercial for a product called the Placo Arm Boy. And the commercial is a dad and his son arm wrestling. And the dad's like taunting the kid. He's like, "Too easy," and walks off. And he goes, Placo Arm Boy, blah, blah, blah. And the thing pops up out of nowhere. And he goes, "Step 1, attach Placo Arm Boy." And it puts it on the kid's arm. Step 2, conceal Placo Arm Boy and covers it up with a sleeve. Step 3, sign our, liability waiver or whatever. And he signs it. And then it says Arm Boy. And then it says a subsidiary. And then the guy's like, "Yoshimoto Cybernetics Soul," And I just thought that was great. I don't know why, but that's a great little touch there. And Skips is just like got this blank Homer Simpson stare on his face, like, this is some revelatory moment the whole time. So it cuts to a very short montage of Skips training his butt off. He's actually doing some exercises that have no real benefit at all. Like he's holding onto rings and jumping off the ground. He's not like doing, like a fly or a plunge or whatever. He's just kind of jumping up and down. But he's curling and doing one-arm push-ups and all this stuff. And he goes out to McHooligans. And before he gets there, they're like, "Where's Skips?" And Mordecai says, he had stuff to do." And Rigby said, "He's probably just resting his old man bones." And then Skips comes to the door And like he's like got this look on his face, like you're about to pay up, sucker. And Rigby says, well, look who came back for round 3. And Vincent says, don't do it, Skips. And Skips doesn't say anything. He puts his hand down, and Rigby puts his hand up, and he starts to yawn. And Skips grabs it. And we get like this, I don't know what the song is, but it's like this classical song, this operatic choir singing in the background, chanting. And Skips pulls on Rigby's arm, and he pulls off the Playco arm boy and holds it up in the other one. And he's got like this dead killer stare in his eyes while he's holding that up over his head, and he throws it back. And then he holds his hand out and he motions like, come on. Like, you knew this was coming. And Rigby's like cowering, and he reluctantly puts his hand up there, and Skips basically grabs it, flings him up by the arm, and then slams him back down through the table and kills him. I mean, and then the flashback cuts off, and it's just Skips there, and he's like, I'm sorry, Rigby, I'll make it up to you. And then we hear the ethereal laugh of death. So he says, well, Skip's at it again. And then a portal opens up, and Death comes riding out on a chopper with like a skull head, and the horns are the handlebars. And it's got flames on the side and these big extended tailpipes. It's kind of plays up to the whole Death roll. And he gets off the bike. He's got a scythe on his back, and he's got a leather jacket on, jeans, pointy boots, chain coming out of his wallet. He's a biker. I mean, he's got like that type of outfit. He's got like a skull for a belt buckle. And who he reminds me of kind of is maybe not, he doesn't have the hat, but kind of reminds me of Lemmy from Motorhead a little bit. Maybe it's like the accent. I think Lemmy was Australian, maybe. I don't know if this is an Australian accent or not, but it sounds like it to me. Anyway, he and Skip come up with the agreement that they're going to arm wrestle each other. And if Skips wins, he gets Rigby back. If Death wins, he gets Skip's soul. And that's very enticing to Death because he says Skips has been dodging him for years, and now he gets to finally beat him and take his immortal soul. So they set up, this otherworldly, surreal arm wrestling match. So Death's like, set him up, and he takes off his jacket, and one arm's just like a normal arm, but his right arm is like humongous. I mean, the forearm is huge, the bicep, the tricep. He's got separation in his lateral delt, which is huge, and his front delt. I mean, it's just like, it's like that stereotypical 80s, stereotype of, this is what arm wrestlers look like. They got that one jacked arm. And I mean, it's like very hyperbolized there. But they set it up and they start arm wrestling, and we get a match that's very typical of what the regular show becomes. It's like they take the most basic things that would kind of seem quasi boring at first, and they make it in this very dramatic presentation, kind of like the 80s movies did. There was an 80s movie with Sylvester Stallone about truckers that arm wrestled, and it's like, who would even think to make a movie about that? What are they going to do? They just sit at a table and slam each other's hands down. But I mean, this is kind of what that is. For about 15 or 20 seconds, that arm wrestling match is super dramatic. It's just over the top. They're back and forth and back and forth. The table starts levitating. Lightning comes out of it. A portal opens up underneath them. Death flips his glasses up, says, "Your soul is mine," and like shoots like beams or something into Skips' face. And he goes, "Any last words, Skips?" And Skip says 2 words, Playco arm boy. And then like he lets his fingers go and like he readjusts his grip on Death's arm. Like that's totally like an 80s type shot there. It's like, I'm just now I have enough time to readjust my grip, and then the synth starts playing, and it's just very 80s. And then he takes over and he wins because he uses the Playco arm boy. So Death's mad. He's like, how's this possible? Mark my words, Skips, someday your immortal soul will be mine. And Skips is like, I beat you now. Give Rigby back his soul and take a hike. And Death gets on his bike, and he hawks a loogie in Rigby's mouth. Nasty. But I guess that's Rigby's soul or whatever. And as he's taking off, Rigby comes to, and just as Death's going through the wall, I mean, he sees him, and he's like, Skips, or maybe Skips talks first. He says, look, Rigby, I'm sorry about, the whole killing you thing back there. It was unprofessional. Rigby looks at his back, and it's like all scarred up and cut up and got patches all over it. And he goes, water under the bridge. So you cheated Death, huh? And he says, I learned from the best. And he pulls out the play car arm boy, and they go, He says, so, and then Skip says, seriously, though, you shouldn't cheat. I only did it to save your life. And Rigby says, so everybody back at the park thinks I'm dead, right? And he says, yeah. He says, we got to take advantage of that. We should totally prank him. And Skip says, look, I've had enough pranks for the day. And then the episode just ends. So that's the episode Over the Top. And it's a pretty good one. Nothing really. Well, actually, the commercial for the arm boy and the guitar dude, there's some things that do stick out. But it's a well done episode. I don't know out of the past three I've mentioned, Grave Sites, Really Real Wrestling, or this one, because they're all three completely different types of episodes. This one feels like it pays more homage to the 80s type advertising and things like that. But I'd hate to, I don't know. It's just apples, oranges, and bananas, to be honest with you. But out of a 10, I would probably give this one probably a 7.5, as far as maybe a 7. Nothing really sticks out super over the top, but I'm looking at the pop culture reference, and I didn't realize it. That movie that Sylvester Stallone's in is called Over the Top. Okay, I get it now. All right. The title of the episode is a reference to the 1987 movie classic Over the Top, starring Sylvester Stallone as a truck-driving single father who enters an arm wrestling contest to win a new truck. Other trivia: Mordecai and Rigby are playing their video game. Mordecai's structure Rigby used the combination up, up, down, down, left, right, left, right. That's the first half of the famous Konami code. It's interesting to note that on the regular show, the complete first and second seasons DVD on the main menu, disc 1, this code works if performed with a DVD remote. That's interesting. I did not know that because I don't have that DVD. Goof's Muscle Man and High Five's ghost disappear when Skip smashes Rigby into the table. I didn't notice that. They are additionally not seen in the hospital at the beginning of the episode before the flashback. And then alternate versions, it's going to be censorship. The first scene of the episode was cut and instead shows the McHooligans restaurant. The word McHooligans is blanked out. Yeah. Muscle Man saying, oh yeah, Hooligans round 2 is changed to, all right, Family Restaurant round 2. All right, Family Restaurant round 2. Family Restaurant. Okay. High Five's ghost saying shotgun was muted because he calls shotgun in the car. And that Death spitting in Riggy's mouth to revive him was changed to him shooting a laser from his finger. All right, well, whatever. Yeah, so it's a decent episode overall. There's none of these in season 2 that I would recommend avoiding. That's for sure. I would at least watch all of them once. There's some that stick out more than others, but this one just kind of fits right in. The next one, Night Owl. I'm trying to think. Night Owl's in season 20. What? Really? That one's this early? The next one's a pretty cool concept. I thought this was a later episode. Huh. Yeah. So the next one's going to be pretty good too. Night Owl. And then Bunch of Baby Ducks. Those are always popular episodes. Ask the kids at school, which ones you like? Baby Duck episode. So I don't know if it's the same Bunch of Baby Ducks. Send them to the moon. But there is a bunch of baby ducks and they make recurring appearances. So next few episodes, or 2 or 3, are also going to be pretty good. So, yeah, stick around for that. As always, I appreciate you listening, sharing, giving reviews, whatever, all that jazz. I look forward to hearing from you. You can always leave us a voice message or an email at textmexandcandy@gmail.com. And with that, I wish you the best and insert closing line here.